Hello, you beautiful sons of bitches. How you doing today? I am doing awesome. It is warmer, and I like it. I'd like to talk today about emotions and how emotions make us choose things that are not necessarily the right thing to do. For example, if you are in an emotional state, uh, give you an example. Uh, your father has fallen and you've called for an ambulance. And while the ambulance personnel are there, your father suffers a massive heart attack and dies clinically on the floor of your room, of your house. What is your emotional state? Are you going to be separated from the situation to where you can analyze what happened to the man and start treatment for the man to save his life or to attempt to save his life? Or are you going to be so overcome with emotion that you fall down over your father, uh, basically knocking the EMTs away because you're sobbing, you don't understand what's going on, you don't want to lose your dad, uh, but you are in an emotional state, so you can't focus on anything other than what you see or what, from your perspective. And so when people are emotionally charged uh, for any event, they tend to be not as rational as other people would be in the same situation. Emotions, every animal on this planet has emotions. And I've been kind of thinking on the fact of what makes us as human beings separate from the rest of the animals of this planet, so that, or to the degree that, we're able to dream uh, and achieve our dreams through self-education, uh, mathematics, science, chemistry, biology, music, art. All these things came from man. And they all start with whatever, a dream, an idea. And when people who have these dreams and ideas share them with the other people around them for support, a lot of times people say, "Nah, you shouldn't do that. You're not going to be very good at that at all. No, don't even try. You're incapable of doing that." Well, that would evoke an emotional feeling inside of yourself. And if you're not trained, if you don't actively train your mind, then you will automatically respond uh, with emotion, and you won't necessarily see the light. Of emotions, there are two emotions that are, shall we say, the most powerful of all the emotions that human beings have experienced. And those are simply the emotions of love and hate. Love and hate. I remember when I was in high school, in Wichita Falls, actually, Hershey High School. I had a physics teacher that told my class, because well, at the time, just like I'm sure today, the kids were always struggling with their identity of who they want to be, who versus those who may be more accepted more than who they want to be, and yada yada yada. Basically, we had the athletic type of people and we had the brainiacs, if you will. Uh, and he posed this question, or he posed this to the class. And he said, look, if something was to happen right now, and we were to go fight with each other in the school, who would win? The athletic people or the brainiacs? And of course, some people answered immediately, athletic. Not even a try. Well, okay. Maybe at first, he said. But he said, do you think the brainiacs would be able to counter their physical strength? Yeah. We thought about it, and we agreed that eventually somebody would come up with an idea bright enough to take care of the physical part of the people, the physical aggression anyway. So I guess I kind of learned early on that no matter how somebody looks at you, it doesn't change what's inside of you. And if somebody doesn't see the goodness inside of you, then they're not looking for the goodness inside of you, because we all have a tendency to see from our perspective only the direction that we're looking. So the athletics in this example were the people that were being aggressive, because they're the ones that started the fight in the school with aggressive behavior, and like jocks will be, thump on the little guy, make themselves feel bigger. All this high school stuff, that played out and plays out every day in every area of this country, continues the same way when I was back in high school. And I'm sure when my mother was back in high school, and her mother, if she went to high school, I don't know. It was a long time ago. But so early on, you get a feel for intelligence can overcome physical strength. Intelligence can overcome hate, uh, disarray, frothing about with no meaningful direction. Intelligence can help you overcome all of that, is what I learned. And today, though, we have a lot of people who have not learned the basic responsibilities of a human being, much less of a civilian in a society. We have a group of people who only respond to extreme emotional egress, I guess. They're incapable of communicating in a way that would allow a person of any intelligence level to understand. And they fail to do this because their only invocation is the emotion, the strong emotion. And when you're strongly emotional on any situation, you very rarely can defend that situation, much less explain why you're so emotional about it. And that's okay. That's normal. It's part of the human psyche. Okay? But I think the thing that makes us different from all the other animals on this planet uh, is that we have the ability to choose. We have the cognitive function to examine our surroundings, examine our beliefs, examine our influences and controls uh, internally and externally from us, to make an informed choice of, hey, you know what? Yes, this is a very emotional situation, but if I was to become emotional with this, then I am out of control and I'm unable to respond, but rather react to whatever situation is being presented. And that is what I really wanted to get across to you. If you are one with a lot of emotion, okay, inside of you, rushing to get out, that is so awesome. It really is. The some of the most beautiful things in humanity were created from a deep sense of emotional stirring. So I think that's totally awesome. As long as you couple that with making the right choice. Is this the time for me to be emotional? What will my emotions really get out of this situation? Am I honestly doing any good, or am I just becoming part of the problem? And now this doesn't necessarily refer to any necessary group or groups that I've spoken of in past videos. This actually is something you can look at yourself right now. Go into the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror, and ask yourself these questions. First, am I emotional? Well, yes, no, maybe, sometimes, depends upon, whatever. You're going to get a slew of answers. So then you would ask yourself this: am I in control? Now, in past videos, I've spoken about the circles of influence uh, and the circles of no influence and control, and the dot in the middle that is just you, in which only you have control over yourself. That's it, nothing else. You don't have control over me, no matter what you say on my video comments. And I don't have control over you. As a matter of fact, I welcome a diverse array of comments because it gives me a lot of information to kind of think about. Gives me a reason to pause. And I've actually never, I don't think I've ever turned off my comments on any of my videos because I openly welcome the dialogue. Even if it's hateful, stupid, uh, rhetorical, emotional, out of control, unhinged, oh, whatever. The fact of the matter is, if you are good with yourself and you feel good about who you are and what you stand for, represent, you can hold your head high no matter what group of people you may be around or who you may be passing in the mall or on the street corner. The character of you comes from the inside of you. It comes from you making that decision that you're not going to be emotional about this situation. You're going to be rational about it. Remember always, if you get emotional, you lose control. Now, depending on your particular circumstance, perhaps you're not an individual who really gives a shit about being in control of anything, much less themselves. But for people of intelligence, they understand that if you lose control of yourself, you've lost control of the situation. And if you lose control of the situation, it's very, very difficult to get it back. So you should always check yourself first, making sure that you're making the right choice and the right decision, and move forward on whatever you decide. And never, never have a second thought about it. Because as long as you're doing the very best you can do every day of your life, you have absolutely nothing to be regretful for. Nothing. If you slack off, okay, now you have something to be regretful for. But explain to me what berating yourself over and over and over with a negative self-talk is going to do to help you get over that feeling of guilt. Guilt is that feeling that can cause you to lose control. So, I hope that answers the question that I was trying to answer when I started the video. Everybody, listen. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what your ideology is. I don't care if you're Christian or an atheist. I love you for being my brother, my sister, a human being on this planet, one lifetime of the 40,000 lifetimes that our species has been on this planet. We have grown from being hunters and foragers and travelers or whatever, just trying to survive, like migrating with the food and so on and so forth, to honestly an outstanding species that has attained so much greatness, as evident by all the things that we even have today. We didn't have 50 years ago. We didn't have 100 years ago. Shit. Electricity has only been around for about 140, 130 years. Really? Electricity. So, we have done such wonderful, marvelous things for humanity. But at the same time, I think a lot of humanity is being sterilized out of learning the basic principles of respect, honesty, communication, love, not hate, stop, think, and then act. Don't react. All the things that I was taught growing up, I guess they don't really teach as much anymore. I think I'm going to end this by tying back to another video. When I talked about the media being the opposition party, I know that there is so much good in America, in the hearts of the men and women of America. I know this. The media won't show you this, because the media goes for money. Money from revenue, from ads, or whatever. And so what they do is they identify a particular circumstance somewhere in the world, and they magnify it and they blast it all over us. For what purpose? How is the media serving humanity by seeking to invoke these emotions in people to cause them to do things that they wouldn't normally do? They're not. They're only serving themselves. So that's why the media is the opposition party. That's why you should always try to maintain yourself in a position of check with your emotions and maintain the control of your situation that you find yourself in. Because if you lose control of that, it's going to be a bad day. Everybody be good to each other. Much love. Leave your comments.